In this lesson, we'll review a literary-based reading passage. You will have one literature passage. It'll be the first passage in the reading section, typically an older passage. This passage is adapted from Edith Wharton's Ethan Frome, originally published in 1911. So older passages, typically archaic language. And this gives a little bit of the setting. Maddie Silver is Ethan's household employee. And so we want to answer the description of the first paragraph indicates what Ethan values most about Maddie. So I'd recommend pausing the video and just reading it on your own, and then we can review it. All right, so I assume you've read it. Again, we want what Ethan values most. And a little bit of advice, it is never going to be the language you see in the passage. It will get restated, but there has to be evidence, obviously, to select it. And so here in the beginning, I'll just sort of paraphrase it. Maddie had lived under Ethan's roof for a year, and they had frequent chances of seeing her, but no moments in company were comparable when they were hand in hand and walking back through the night to the farm. So he's definitely fond of her. He had taken to the girl from the first day. When he had driven over to the flats to meet her, she had smiled and waved. "You must be Ethan," she cried out, and she jumped down with bundles. And then he looked at her and said, "She don't look much on housework, but she ain't a fretter anyhow." But it was not only that the coming to his house was a bit of a hopeful young girl. It was like the lighting of a fire on a cold hearth. The girl was more than this bright, serviceable creature he had thought her to be, so more than just this employee. She had an eye to see, an ear to hear. He could show her things and tell her things, the taste of bliss and feeling that all he imparted left long reverberations and echoes he could wake at will. So he thought about her. He really felt that she was there for him, and he thought her much more as an employee. So let's look at the choices. What he values most from this first paragraph, it's definitely not this. In fact, he said that she don't look much on housework, but she ain't a fretter. That definitely is not the choice. Vivacious youth. Now, vivacious is full of life, but does that what he values the most? You have to be careful. So she is young here. She's hopeful, but is it her liveliness? Let's just keep reviewing the choices. Receptive nature. This definitely looks better because from the moment she met him, she smiled and waved. She cried out, "You must be Ethan." And she was hopeful. She was lighting this fire on a cold hearth. And she was more than this serviceable creature, more than this employee. She had an eye to see and an ear to hear. He could show her things and tell her things. She really was receptive to all that Ethan offered. This is definitely the better choice over vivacious youth. And freedom from worry. Again, there might be like minimal evidence of that, but that's definitely not what he values the most about her. And so the answer here is C.